Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start the session for Geography Optional 66th BPSC examination. And this session is a very special session for all of us because in this session I am going to change something about the mode of communication. Actually, in earlier days I used to teach all of you in bilingual sense by using the Hindi and English in the same class. So it was a bilingual class. So in this session I want to change. There will be separate batch for English medium and the separate for Hindi medium. So this is the first lecture for a separate English medium batch so that you will not have any problem about writing notes, understanding the keywords and the discussion of particular topic. So let's begin from here with a mission that we are going to accomplish all the session with energy, with all perfection, so that we will have more than 200 marks. That is benchmarks for my class. So all of you will be benefited by the approach, the perfection I want to carry throughout the session. For the introduction, I want to tell you we have 20 unit in BPSC examination, and out of 20 unit we have 140 chapters. It means 140 lectures. Out of that, if you have command over 70 quality chapters, then you will be able to answer 6 questions whatever they are asking in means examination. So the mission is that it is not that I am going to leave any chapters out of 140, but your mission should be you should have a very good command over 70 topics. Some topics are included in syllabus, but not so catchy one. But you are to give efforts for the chapters which are very clear cut, crystal clear, has a number of maps, diagrams, everything, so that once you are writing the notes, it should be a golden notes, a golden answer for examination also, both you and examiner also. So not to go for the detailed lecture, not to go for the extra lecture, I want to come to the point area. Today I have chosen the area, I have taken the area that is industrial location theory given by Weber, Alfred Weber. So every person know about the location of industry from junior classes, from NCERT. We have learned location of theory in class 12 NCERT, economic geography, and also the world geography resource section. In this class, we are going to study about theory of industrial location. It is beyond NCERT, right? So in this class, first go for the structure of chapter, what we are going to elaborate in this class, so that we will have a very clear idea of what will the content of this chapter. Then you go for the analysis of particular unit, a particular section of chapter. So this one is the first discussion area. Before going to first discussion area, let's draw the structure of this chapter, what we are going to analyze or discuss in this particular session. So students, better to go for one simple structure in the beginning of this chapter. So suppose this one is a plot area in your notebook. You write there a Weber theory, Weber industrial location theory as the headline of topic. After that you write the contents area, what we are going to study in a Weber theory. The first is as a meaning of manufacturing. So first thing, as we begin the chapter, we always know first of all we should know the meaning and concept of manufacturing. The second thing is factors. Factors means the factors controlling the location of theory. Those are the factors we already done in NCERT book. And the third thing, that is assumption. Assumption given by a Wagner. What should be the criteria? What should be assumption? for the location of industry, right? So this will be the third area. Now you go for the third one, the concept given by Weber in relation to transport, labor. The first thing market transport, second thing labor, and the third about raw material. This will be the third area of discussion. Now the fourth area you will have the application and criticism. Application and criticism of theory, or you can say the conclusion of this discussion. So if you conclude these four areas, you will have very clear idea about the location theory given by Weber. So go for, after writing this area, now you have a clear picture about the contents. Now I am telling you the one basic thing, students, I always emphasize, whenever you are going to study a particular topic, particular chapter, you create a clear image about the chapter. There can be different type of image. The first is a image of chapter in the form of a structure. Second, the concept image, the image of concept, it can be in the form of diagrams, in the form of maps. So once you have all the three images, you will have very clear idea to write quality answers. So it was a beginning. In the beginning of session, I have given you the image of chapter, that is location, the factor of location, the components given by Weber, the criticism and the uses of this theory. Got that? Now we will go for creating the image of concept and the maps, right, or the diagrams. So this is the introduction heading in front of you, Industrial Location Theory by Alfred Weber. Now move to second slide here. First of all, I am giving you the meaning of industry or manufacturing. Listen very carefully and write notes along with me. In my class, I emphasize writing notes is the first thing. If you have written notes with care, with all perfection, it means you have won the battle in a halfway. Half battle is won at the time of writing your notes. Then you will be able to write the quality answer. So along with the discussion, you write the quality notes. So the meaning is the meaning of manufacturing on an industry. So in clear words, it is a processing of raw material into finished goods. Industry is processing of raw material into finished goods. It can be biologically, it can be physically, or it can be chemical transformation of raw material into finished goods. So it can be on large scale or can be on a small scale, and it can be done by machine or hands. So these are the characters, these are the basic criteria for defining the manufacturing or industry. You write the meaning. With care you write notes. Write manufacturing is the processing of raw material into finished goods. Manufacturing is processing of raw material into finished goods. It is a transformation. It is a transformation or the creation of new thing by biological, chemicals or physical process. So it can be created by biological, chemical or physical process. I think you may have written the notes clearly. So it is a transformation of raw material into finished goods. It can be done by biological, physical and chemical process. manufacturing is done on small scale or large scale by hand or machine. So it is done by hand or machine on a small scale or large scale. So all these are the three criteria for defining the manufacturing or industry. Now come to the location of industry. Definition is okay, students. You have written all the three basic characters. Now we are here to discuss about the factor for the location of industry. This is the very basic thing, but you must write in the beginning of the contents. So we have four basic characters or factors. The first is a physical factor, second is human factor, third is political factor, and fourth is a dynamic factors. I am going to elaborate first a physical factor. Physical factor we include the first one climate, the second one topography, the second one available water, and the third one raw material. So we have four basic factors as a physical factor. We have done in class 12 NCERT also, but here we have to understand the application area. Talk about the climate factor. Suppose we are going to locate cotton textile industry. You will find that the location of cotton textile industries are mainly in the coastal area of Maharashtra and Gujarat. It shows that the area has a favorable climatic condition. There is a huge amount of oceanic moisture, so the threading is very easy. So in this area, the location of cotton textile you will find in earlier age. Nowadays, there is an artificial environment for industrial areas. So you will find that naturally the industries are located close to the coastal area. Cotton textile industries are located close to coastal area because the moisture is available there. The second, you have a topography. First you write the detailed notes, write a physical factors. The first factor you write climate. Write suitable climate attracts industry. Most of the cotton textile industries are located close to the coastal area. Most of the cotton textile industries are located close to the coastal area because there is a huge amount of moisture needed for a threading or needed for cotton textile. So Maharashtra and Gujarat have number of cotton textile industry due to favorable climate. Maharashtra and Gujarat in coastal area have large number of cotton textile industry due to favorable climate. So I hope you understand this area. The favorable climate condition attract industries. Now the second thing, you have a topography. Now you can imagine the face of earth, the face of India. You have a mountain, plateaus and plain. You will find that a mountain area is less developed in the term of transportation. Plateaus area and plain area are well developed in the means of transport and communication, and also have a better minerals resource also. So for the location of industry, plateaus area and plain area are more favorable than climatic area of mountain or the topographical area of mountain. So that second discussion, topography. Mountain, plateaus and plain are the major topography on the face of India, on the face of earth also. Mountain, plateaus and plain are the major topography on the face of earth. Mountain area is less favorable for industry. Mountain area is less favorable for the location of industry. Plateaus area and plain area are more favorable for a location of industry. So plateaus area and plain areas are more favorable for the location of industry. So one area has better access to transport, better construction. So plateau and main, you will find a number of industries are there. In mountain area, you will find less number of industry or a very less number. Now we have water right there in the one sentence, not for detail. Industries are located in a close area to a river bank or the source of water area because it is needed for industrial uses. So we will find that most of the industries are located either in coastal area or the river bank area or lake area. You can see example there, see in the coastal area of America, coastal area of Europe, number of industries are located, also in India also. The second thing we will find, Great Lakes area of America has a number of industry. The Great Lakes area of USA is known for heavy industries, number of heavy industries are located. So industries need a huge amount of water. That's why industries are located close to the source of water area. So got it very clear, you may have written. Now the fourth one, raw material. So we will also emphasize the character or the importance of significance of raw material. There are different types of raw material. Students will discuss in Weber's concept. One is a weight losing raw material, one is weight gaining raw material, one is a gross raw material. Different type of raw materials are there. But in general, industries are located close to raw material area. You will find a large number of industry, heavy industries are located on the plateau of Chota Nagpur plateaus. So it is due to available raw material, the industries are located on Chota Nagpur plateaus, whether we talk about steel industries, Tisco, Bokaro, Durgapur, Raurkela, Bhilai, all are located due to a huge amount of raw material on the plateau of India. So you mentioned there here raw material. Right, raw material is a basic need for industry. Raw materials are the basic need of industry. That's why industries are located close to raw material area. Industries are located close to raw material area. Like heavy industries are located on Chota Nagpur plateaus. Like heavy industries are located close to Chota Nagpur plateaus. So I hope students you have a very clear idea about the location of industry and the physical factors, how physical factor control the location of industry. It's very clear now. We have the concept of the first thing, that is a climate, topography, raw material and water. Got that. Now we are coming to the second factor, that is human. Those are the human factors. Normally we can include some of the normal human factors, and these are transport, the second one market, the third one labor and capital. Normally we consider these things as the part of human factors. See the transport, what's the need of transport for location of industry? See, different mode of transport connects the production area to consumer area. Once you have better mode of transport, industry can be localized according to the benefit of transport system, right? So right there, transport connects production area to consumer area. Transport connects production area to consumer area. That's why better mode of transport is needed for the location of industry. So for the location of industry, we need quality mode of transport which is accessible to the location area or industrial area. Now write about the market. Market is a consumption area for industry. It is needed for the location of industry. Then you have skilled labor. Weber also explained about the need of labor, the cheap labor, skilled labor nearby the industrial area. And the last one is a capital. For the location of industry it is needed, for the establishment of industry it is needed. So these factors we have done in NCERT also, the very basics of location theory or location aspect. You may have written about the use of transport, a market, labor, and a capital for the location of industry. Now we are coming to the political aspect. Some of the industries are also located due to political aspect. I am talking about the area of northern Siberia. Take example, we are considering the area of northern Siberia. It is a very cold area. The temperature goes beyond minus degree area, below minus degree, minus 0 degree. But Rus has established a number of industrial area in North Siberia. It is to integrate the Russian part, northern Russian part. So due to political reason, industries are located in the northern part of Siberia there. In the same way, the tribal area of India, the backward area of India, where there is a less number of unemployment, the government established industry in that area, in those areas, so that the area can be integrated and the people of that area should be benefited by the location of industry, establishment of industry. So you write as a dictation, you write a political factor. Right? Some of the industries are located due to political decision or the government policy, not government policy, due to political decision. So some of the industries are located due to political decision. It is to integrate the remote areas of country. It is to integrate the remote areas of country and also to provide employment in backward areas or less developed areas. It is to integrate the remote areas of country or the backward areas of country, less developed area of the country. So this is the political aspect. Sometimes we establish industry some area, even if it is not so beneficial, not economic beneficial, we establish industry in particular zone or areas. The next is a dynamic factor. Dynamic factor, sometimes dynamic factor plays role. Dynamic factors always those factors which are changing with course of time due to government policy, due to international policy. I am giving you the example of WTO, the rule of WTO, or the WTO direction to the government of India or the other countries also. So in earlier days, industries were established in America and Western Europe. After 1991 or 90s, you will find that there is a different wave, the shifting of industrial area. Nowadays you find the shifting of industry from North America to Brazil and South American section. Same it is happening in the Asian region also. They are promoting industry localization in developing countries in Africa, Asia and Southeast Asia. So it is a dynamic factor by WTO and international rules, international policy. Industries are located in the different parts of world. So you write there a dynamic factor, you write. In dynamic factor we include the WTO rules and the policy of government. So by this factor the industries are located in different area, even though the industry does not have, the area does not have favorable industrial location. So these are the basic thing. Before going to the detail of Weber theory, I have given you two things so far. The first thing is the concept of manufacturing, and the second thing about the factor controlling the location of industry. And I have divided the factors into four parts: the physical factors, human factors, the factors related to political condition, and the fourth is the dynamic factors. So we are leaving this area, the basics area, moving to the main part of this theory, Weber theory. Now see, Weber emphasized two things here. Profitable location can be in two ways: least cost and maximum revenue. There can be two type of approaches for the location of industry. The first can be the least production cost, and the second can be the maximum revenue generated in particular area. We would emphasize this one, least cost theory, by transportation and considering the weight of raw material. So right there, as a second paragraph, third paragraph of your discussion in your notes, Weber's model 1909, and you write the introduction. In 1909, Weber emphasized the location of industry considering the different facts. In 1909, Weber emphasized the role of transportation and the weight of raw material. By using these two components, he has given the theory of least cost theory. Least cost theory means the production cost can be minimized so that the company will have, the industry will have more benefit. So you write, Weber has given the theory of least cost theory. It is by minimizing the production cost, mainly considering the transport cost, right? So least cost theory, main thing depends on the transport cost. So right, there are three components of this theory. Right there in the same paragraph you write, there are three components of Weber theory. The first one, transport cost. The second one, labor cost. And third one, agglomeration. Write with care, the first one, transport cost. The second one, labor cost. And the third one, agglomeration principle. So students, whatever so far I have discussed with you, whatever the idea I have given you so far, these are the part of only the introduction areas. Now we are coming to the main parts of the area, discussion area. I am giving you the, what was the basic concept of Weber for the location of industry. So first of all you write assumption. What was the assumption of Weber for location of industry? Assumption we use in Hindi the manyataएं, or we can use like his views, right? So you write assumption, and I always emphasize this, friends, once you use English properly. Once you use Hindi properly. Don't mix both languages, or don't use different two books, Hindi, English, both in one time, right? So once you are following English medium, go for the English book, you will have proper language. Once you are going for Hindi medium, use Hindi medium book, you will have proper language. Don't mix these two, right? So go for assumption. The first is homogeneity. What he emphasized first thing about homogeneity, mean the area will have equal character, one type of character. One type character in the sense of topography, in the sense of climate, or in the sense of uniform economic areas also. So there are different homogeneity he used. So the area will have equal type of character. You write there the first point about the assumption. Number one, homogeneous area. The first point is homogeneous area. The area will have homogeneous character in the sense of climate and topography. The first thing he emphasized, the area will have homogeneity of climate and topography. So there will be uniform character, one type of character throughout the area. You may have written, again I am giving you the emphasis that the area will have homogeneous character, one type of character. It means one type of climate or one type of topography. The second thing, homogeneity of culture. Suppose there are different communities, one type of community is living. So once you have one type of communities, the area will have one type of culture, and the same will be the consumption of goods also. So second thing you write, Weber emphasize one type of culture or the homogeneity of culture. The third thing he emphasized about the location, one political system in particular area. So we are talking about the homogeneous thing. The first is topography, second is culture, and the third thing is a system of government. What suppose democratic government is there, it will be democratic government throughout the area. It means one type of government to influence the area, right? So that is third thing. The next thing is a one type of single mode of transport. So these four things are the homogeneous thing. It means Weber emphasized there must be one type of homogeneous thing in four aspects. The first is topography and climate. Second thing is means of transport, one culture, one political system. I think you may have written. See students, why I have always giving you emphasis on writing notes, because writing notes is a difficult thing. Giving time, spending time with a teacher or with a lecture is always difficult with use high level of concentration. But once you have written notes, it becomes very easy at the time of examination to revise and recall things. Because in class, whatever you are writing with a teacher or your mentor, and with understanding you are writing your notes. So I always emphasize writing notes is the first instrument to qualify examination. For that, particularly I am talking about BPSC. Here it's highly needed. Now you go for economic knowledge. So the area will have the person of citizen will have quality knowledge of education, economics. They can decide about the use of resources. So write the economic knowledge of the citizens or the areas. The second you write, the demand and price of good is fixed. That is economic assumption you write as second point. In economic assumption, he emphasized the demand and price of good is fixed. So in particular homogeneous area, there is no change in price, there is no change in demand, it is already fixed, it is not a fluctuation. Next, he emphasized the centered location of market. Suppose you have this market, large geographical area, homogeneous area, so the market will be centralized in a center area, right? So there will be centered location of market. And the next thing he emphasized about the concept of transport. So in transport he emphasized the transport cost is equal to W into D, means weight into distance. Weight into distance. So transport cost is equal to weight into distance. And the last thing he emphasized, more emphasized about the character of raw material. Here you should very careful about writing the details. You write there, the first thing is a gross material. He emphasized different types of material. We have different type of raw material. I am giving you the words here. The first thing is a gross raw material. Try to understand what's meaning of gross material. Suppose you are manufacturing iron steel and you are using different raw material, iron, manganese, chromium, coal, different things. These are the different raw material aggregate creating some amount of iron steel. If the finished product's price, if the finished product's weight is less than previous raw material, then it is named as a gross raw material. So coal and iron are the example of gross raw material. So in that sense you will find the finished item will have less weight than previous raw material. So this type of raw material is a gross one. The second is a weight losing raw material. Take example of I am giving you. Suppose in an area you have sugarcane industry, and in sugarcane industries you will find that sugar industries are located to agriculture field area or the local area, because as it is transported to other area it tend to lose weight. So sugarcane industries are located close to raw material area, as it is the weight losing raw material. Got that? That is the second aspect. Now the third is a ubiquitous raw material. Ubiquitous means the raw material available everywhere. Suppose you have water, soil, air. So these are the raw material available everywhere. So these raw material are named as ubiquitous raw material. Ubiquitous means the raw material available everywhere. So the type of raw material I am telling you, the type of raw material we have, the first one is a gross, the second one pure, the third one ubiquitous, and the fourth one is a gross raw material. Got that? So students, assumption, I like to again recap the areas. You have the first, the concept of homogeneity. With me you can remember the main points. In homogeneity we have the four homogeneity, mainly topography, climate, we have culture, political system, and also the transport, mode of transport. In economic, the people will have economic knowledge also. The demand and price are the fixed one. In transport, you have, in transport, the transport cost is equal to or the proportion to the distance and the weight of raw material. And finally, we have the great concept about raw material, weight gaining, weight losing, gross raw material, and fixed raw material. The last one, which is ubiquitous raw material. Ubiquitous means the raw material available every area. So these are the assumptions given by Weber. Now I want to move to other areas, next areas for discussion. Now we like to discuss about the transportation. See, in transportation theory of Weber, he first talked about the raw material. Suppose you have single raw material and single market. You write in the concept of raw material, single raw material and single market. Suppose the raw material is ubiquitous and gross one, then industry will be located where? Suppose you have this area, market area, large geographical area, and you have ubiquitous material. Take example of soil, and you were to establish pottery industry. As you move from manufacturing area to market area, there will be transport cost. So in that sense, the people tend to discover the area or a location area near to market. So in ubiquitous, the industry will be localized close to market area. It means pottery industry will be located close to market area. So first thing, you have ubiquitous raw material, means the raw material available everywhere. Then to reduce transport cost, industry will be located close to market area. The second thing are the fixed and gross. Suppose the one raw material is very heavy, the gross raw material, where the transport cost will be maximum. Take example of, you have a raw material like iron, coal, manganese, and you are carrying raw material to a large distance, suppose from Jharkhand to Rajasthan to establish iron and steel industry. So there will be maximum transport cost. To reduce transport cost, the raw material industrial area or the industry will be located close to raw material area. So you will find industry will be located close to a raw material area. I am again giving you the concept. In single raw material area, there will be three conditions. Just try to understand. The first thing, if there is ubiquitous raw material, means the raw material which can be available everywhere, then the industry will be located close to market area. The second thing, if industrial raw material is very heavy, the gross one, to reduce transport cost, industry will be located close to raw material area. And the third case, you have pure raw material. Pure means, suppose you have cotton, the type of raw material cotton is, the weight never change even after manufacturing, right? So this type of industry can be localized close to market area. So we will find that cotton textile industry is located in every part of India except Mountain Kingdom, because it is a raw material, pure raw material, which can be transported to any area and the weight will not be lost, right? Weight will not be gained also. So it is a pure raw material where the industry can be located close to a market area. So there are three conditions. The first is ubiquitous, the industry will be located close to market area. The second is a gross raw material, industry will be located in a raw material area. The third is a pure raw material, the raw material can be transported without losing a weight there. So industry can be located near the market area to reduce transport cost. I hope you understand the single market, single raw material very clearly. Got that? Now come to the second area, students. I am telling you, this is, now we have single raw material and two different, single market and two different raw material. We have single market and two different raw material. We have to establish industry for better benefit, economic benefit. So suppose you have a ubiquitous raw material. Again, you have ubiquitous raw material, two ubiquitous raw material are there. Then in that case also, the industry will be located close to market area, because raw material is everywhere. Then industry will be close to market area. The second is fixed and pure. Fixed and pure, you have one is fixed and pure raw material. The second thing, both are fixed and pure. Now we have two raw material and have a different nature. We have to find out the proper location of industry. What that is, students? Just I am giving you. Suppose you have two raw material, raw material 1, raw material 2, R1, R2 you can write. You have this market area. Now we have to find out the proper location of industry. So in that sense, there will be a triangular location, right? Two raw material and one market you have. Suppose the raw material, both raw material is heavy raw material, like you have iron, coal, this type of raw material is there. Then industry will be localized in a center area and this will be a transportation area. So in that sense, we can reduce the transportation cost. So you write there, in heavy raw material case, if both are the heavy raw material, then industry will be localized in the center of triangle to reduce transport cost. This is the first thing. Second thing, you can change the diagrams. Suppose you have this type of triangle. We are talking about a weight losing raw material. There are two different raw material and those are the weight losing. Then it will be away from the market area but in the center of triangle, lower center of triangle, like sugarcane industries you have or different this type of weight losing industries. Third case is, friends, suppose we are going to establish biscuit industries, bakery industries. We have different raw material and these raw material will create a good amount of, a huge amount of or the heavy material after production. So transport cost can be reduced once industry is localized close to the market area. Suppose you have this area in a triangle. So this will be the location of wheat gaining industries or bakery industry. You can find out the Western Europe have a number of bakery industries due to favorable market location. So again I am telling you, in a location triangle, we can justify three types of raw material. One is a heavy raw material, one is weight gaining raw material, and one is a weight losing raw material. In that case, if you have a different two types of raw material, industry can be localized in the center of triangle or close to the market areas. So you may have written there. Now come to the next concept area. We are talking about labor principle. The first was a transport principle, then we have labor principle. transport and raw material are the well connected, because the heavy material will have more transport cost, light material will have less transport cost. Now for labor principle, Weber used isochain and isodopant. From the center of market area to outside area, there is a circle of equal wages. So if you are in a close to the market area, you will find high wages. If you are away from the market area, you will find low wages. So Weber emphasized the cheap labor concept and expensive labor concept. Near the market area, there is a cheap labor. As you move from market area to outside area, near the market, you will find the wages of labor is very high. As you are moving from center to outside area, you will find cheap labor. In the opposite case, you will find once you are in a center area and you are moving to outside area, center area will have less transport cost. As you are moving from center area to outside area, the market cost will, transport cost will increase. So at certain place you will find both will be a balanced one. Transport cost and labor cost will be balanced one, and it is named as, the area is named as a critical isodopant. So you will find that there are isochrones showing the equal wages circle, and the area which is more favorable for the location of industry is named as isodopant. So isodopant is a critical area where the transport cost and labor cost become balanced one for the location of industry. So you write there, for a labor cost, Weber used the concept of isochrones. For the labor cost, Weber used isochrones, means the line showing equal wages or equal labor cost. As you move from the center area to outside area, as we move from center area to outside area, the transport cost increases and the labor cost decreases. As you move from center to outside area, transport cost increases and labor cost decreases. So in a certain point or after certain distance, the transport cost and labor cost become optimum, a balanced one. After certain distance from the center area, both become balanced. That area is considered as a critical isodopant area. That area is considered as a critical isodopant area and favorable area for the location of industries. So those area are the favorable area for the location of industry. Now come to the last concept area of Weber theory. He has given the concept of agglomeration. It's a very simple thing, not a tough thing or rocket technology to understand this one. Agglomeration means the facilities or benefit of infrastructure. Suppose you have this area, the different three areas, one circle area, second circle area, and the third one. Suppose A, B, and C are the industrial areas. So this area will have most favorable location for the industrial location, because this area will have better infrastructure facilities. I am giving you an example. By example also we can understand the concept. Suppose we are on Chota Nagpur Plateaus area and we can see the concept of agglomeration. The first of all, TISCO established there, and it has developed the infrastructure area in Jharkhand area. Later on, other industry came to that area. You have Bokaro, in the nearby you have Durgapur, nearby you have Raurkela, nearby you have Bhilai. All are close to Chota Nagpur area. The infrastructure developed by TISCO become beneficial to other industries. So it is a benefit of agglomeration. So if one industry is there, it will be good for other industry as a benefit of infrastructure. So write there agglomeration. Agglomeration principle means the benefit of infrastructure. The benefit of infrastructure. Once the industry is established in particular area, once the industry is located in particular area, it will be beneficial for incoming industry or upcoming industries. It will be beneficial for upcoming industries. For example, you can write, we can take example of Tisco. On Chota Nagpur plateaus, Tisco established first of all. On Chota Nagpur plateaus, Tisco established first of all. Later on, Bokaro, Durgapur and Raurkela were benefited by infrastructure, benefited by the infrastructure developed by Tisco. So you have upcoming industries benefited by the previous work of that area. So Tisco established the infrastructure, and later on it became very useful for upcoming industries. So this is the principle of agglomeration Wagner emphasized. So now come to the last discussion area of Weber theory, Weber's least transport cost theory actually. So this one is, as a criticism, there are a very few criticism we can mention about the about this theory. The first thing, he always emphasized about transport cost. He more emphasized about transport cost, not demand, supply and other factors. So you write a first point as a criticism. Weber emphasized on transport cost, or more emphasized on transport cost, not on demand and supply. So that was the first concept. Second thing, Weber emphasized on a single market. In modern world, there cannot be the condition of single market. So Weber emphasized the single market location. In modern world, we cannot say. There can be a multiple market area or the multiple nuclear area. The third thing he emphasized about the homogeneity of area. So we won't find homogeneity. There is a difference of people, different culture group, and there is a different topographical area also. So we cannot find uniform area, homogeneity area in particular areas. So these are the three criticism of Weber. But this theory is applicable in different parts of the world still now for heavy industry, iron and steel industry, we can say for. Take example of the Great Lakes area of America. We have Great Lakes area, we have Appalachian area and the location of Europe. These three areas making a triangle for the location of heavy industries. The market is Europe, Appalachian area is a north one, Great Lakes area is a center one. So these 3 points are creating a triangle. So it is very applicable in Great Lakes area. The second thing about the bakery industry, biscuit industry of Western Europe, you will find most of the bakery industries are located close to market area to reduce transport cost. So in writing language also, bakery industries are located in Western Europe due to market location, and it is to reduce transport cost. So finally we can write that this theory is very much applicable nowadays also for heavy industries or iron steel industry. So students, today's efforts, this is the first effort for all of you. First time I am using this concept to separate Hindi medium class to English medium class, and it should be the real sense of learning. Once you are using English, you should use English. Once you are using Hindi, there must be proper Hindi. Don't mix this one. So the previous batch for 65th was a batch I started in bilingual. Now I feel this must be a change situation for you also and me also. I had to translate both things in bilingual. Now I want to do in a separate way. I hope the things will be a good one for you. I want to get feedback from all of you. Will this change, the changing bilingual and Hindi and English will be beneficial for you or not? In what extent I will able to help you? From YouTube channel, I would like to get a feedback from all of you students, so that your feedback will give me more energy to move forward for English medium students separately and Hindi medium separately. So we can do justice to all medium students or both medium students, right? So hope this session may have helped you in my sense, or will help you a lot. I need your feedback. I need your proper wishes for going for the next season and start this mission for the separate batch, right? So thank you all of you. Thank you.